Good afternoon, everyone. I welcome you all for today's session. I welcome Mr. Santiago Niva, High Performance Director, Mr. T.L. Gupta, Program Coordinator, Mr. Rafael Singh, our Head Coach for Women Team, Foreign Coach for Women Team. Alisa, please don't mind. And all other participants, coaches, support staff for today's program. I'll now request Mr. Niva to start.
Thank you, Mr. Sacheti. Okay, we have Kima here today. He will help me with the practical. We'll divide half the session theoretical and half the session will be practical. We'll talk about the training principles, which probably most of you already know and look a little different depending from where you read. Okay, principles of training. These principles basically you need to understand to when you conduct the training to become more effective. In order to get the most out of your training, you must follow some basic, simple training principles. These are based on the biological, psychological, and pedagogical sciences and should be applied to training programs to ensure continual improvement in performance. Depending on which author, which books, and so on, they're different. You will see them a little differently, but I have chosen 8, which I consider important, and we'll take a look at these, and most of them are similar or talking about the same anyway. So the first principle we look at is the principle of active involvement. What does it mean? The boxer has to want to actively and willingly participate in the training program. He or she should understand the positive and negative aspects of his and for her performance and what and how he or she may go about improvising the results. So basically, it's important that the boxer understands the why and how of the training, not just simply following the order. It will be much easier for the coach if the boxer understands the benefits of a certain type of training instead of just repeating randomly, which probably will not be that effective. So we as coaches, we need to educate the boxers. It will make our job easier, and the boxer it will lift the quality of the training for the boxer, and probably we will get better results. You can see this picture illustrates if you enjoy what you're doing, you will be it will be more efficient. Second principle of progressive specialization. What does that mean? At the beginning of a sports career, a broad multilateral base of physical development is one of the basic requirements necessary to reach a highly specialized level of physical preparation and technical mastery. With time, the specific exercises become more and more important for further improvements. So basically, you need a broad base of general exercises. You try different sports, different activities, and you build a strong foundation and slowly, gradually specializing more on the specific exercises. We look at this chart, and here I will try to annotate so that you can see. Here is 10-year-old, and what you see here, this line here is the specialized training. It is less than what it is here for a 24 or 22-year-old. And the general exercises for a 10-year-old, they are here, maybe 40%. But at the top, 24, 28, 24, 22, we don't require as much of a lot of different exercises, but more specific training. But the problem that many coaches do is that they want results here. They want results when they work with a 12-year-old, with a 14-year-old. So they forget about this broad number of exercises and general exercises and so on, and just specialize the training to win the next competition. for the base coaches, it's very important to understand. For them, it must be more important to be able to say, I have developed 10 boxers who became national champions or international boxers, than say, I got 10 gold medals at the sub-junior nationals or junior nationals. Because what happens, once you reach a certain age, if you only done the specialized training, most probably you will reach a plateau and it will be more difficult to take it to the next level, and they will stagnate. So that's why it's important. In the base, try different sport, do a lot of different exercises, very important with coordination and so on. And slowly, gradually, more specialized training, and that will give long-lasting results. Okay, next principle. Principle of progressive increase of the load. You see in the first picture, the person is able to lift a small load, but after some time, a week or a month or whatever, he has to increase the load to get more results, and then increase more and more. Of course, this is not linear. Principle of progressive increase of the load. Improvement is a direct result of the amount and quality of work achieved in training. From the initiation stage up to the stage of world-class boxers, workload in training has to be increased gradually. If the same load is maintained for a long period, it loses its effect. However, there must be a balance between work and recovery. That's why I say it's not linear, only improving in a straight line. I will improve from Monday to Tuesday, from Tuesday to Wednesday, from this week to next week, and from next month to the next month. And here you will see also the load. We increase the load, so from week 1 to week 2, we increase the load to week 3, but at some point we need to decrease the load a little bit to be able to further increase it. So if you see, I will see if I can write. In the long run, this curve goes upwards, but it doesn't go straight up. It goes up, little down, up, little down, up, and so on. Now becomes a problem when I have, no, okay. And here you will see also in 5 different loads. Here we have three training sessions, and there is what it says here, positive supercompensation. There is a small improvement. Wait, I need to I need to remove this. How do I clear? Clear all drawings like that. Okay, here on this second one, you will see, boom, a bigger improvement. It's positive supercompensation, but I have a bigger improvement. There are more training sessions here, and these ones are a little too far apart to get a great result. And here we have more positive. In this third one, we have a negative supercompensation. Means that we are working too hard, and the boxer is not recovering, and will lead to overtraining. On this fourth one, we have an accumulated positive. So little overtraining, and then we release the training, and in the long run, so even if it goes down here, whoop, performance in the end will go up. And the last one here, where there are very few training sessions, so basically we are maintaining the level, but there is no improvement in the performance. Next, principle of reversibility. You see on the right, a well-trained boxer, Tyson Fury, heavyweight champion of the world, and on the left is the same boxer when he stops training. If you stop training, the improvement you have made will be reversed. If you do not train for a period of time, you may not be able to resume training at the point where you left off. Training basically is easy come, easy go. So what you have gained in some time of good training, if you don't keep it up, or after a long period of injury or rest or whatever, like in these Corona times, we need to ensure that our boxers stay active, so that when we start again, they have not lost too much, or preferably at the same level, or even make maybe some improvement in some areas. Next principle, principle of individualization. Here you can see two basketball players with very, very different requirements. We cannot train these two the same way. They need to solve the situations differently. They need different skills. Probably they have different positions and so on. We cannot do one training program for all. Principle of individualization: athletes respond differently to the same training. Each boxer, regardless of his or her level of performance, must be treated individually according to his or her abilities, potential, and learning characteristics. The coach has to realize the boxer's needs and maximize his or her abilities. So the training is for the boxers, it's not for us, and we need to see which are the good ways. Boxers develop in difference. Some develop very fast, some very, very slow. We need to find the ways to improve each one individually. Obviously, this is much easier if you work with 3 boxers to adapt it individually, or if you work with 60 boxers. It becomes much more difficult, but in the possible way that you can manage to take into account the individualization of the training. Next principle, principle of variation. And here you see a lot of different cookies. If we eat the same cookies every day, very, very good, but after some time, it becomes very monotonous, and the training is the same. Contemporary training is a very demanding activity requiring many hours of work. To avoid monotony and boredom, the coach's capacity to create, to be inventive, and to work with imagination represents an important advantage for successful variety in training, which in the end will reflect positively upon the boxer's mental and psychological well-being. So repetition is important. We need to work on many aspects, which are very important, but try to give variation, try to make it a little fun, sometimes come out of the normal routine, do something differently, because a boxing career is very long, and we need to keep them motivated and interested. Next principle, principle of periodization. This we will look at more when we talk about training planning. Here is an annual plan with different blocks or periods with different objectives. The boxer can't be in top shape always. To reach the optimal performance, the training can be divided into different periods with different objectives, like a preparatory period, general and specific, a competition period, pre-competitive and competitive, and a transition period, passive and active. And these also can look differently. We have a little different way of planning, but basically you have some periods with some clear objectives, which differ from the next period to be able to get a good tapering for competition. And the last principle we look at is the principle of control. It's necessary to evaluate the training process to verify its success. You will need to check how the training process is going. The preparatory competitions are an effective control of the training. Training looks very good, but we are dealing with the same sparring partners all the time. We need to see them in competition. Competition is a little different, the crowd, the different opponent, and different style, and so on. So the most effective control is the preparatory competitions, but the control of the training, the same with the physical load. The physical load that we are giving them is good. Are they improving? How do we know? Then we can do some tests that we apply and see, oh, no, this is good, or here is no improvement. Maybe we need to change a little bit the training. Okay. 8 training principles, which if we follow them, we ensure that we cover some of the basics needed for a successful training program. This was the theoretical part. You will, after, you can put some questions in the comment section. Meanwhile, I'll prepare a video and we'll go to the practical part. We look at the footwork and mostly the step back, which I consider very important and sometimes overlooked, becoming technological. Okay, the step back, what do I mean with the step back? Step back with both feet, managing the distance, maintaining the distance, and create room for punching. The other day, we looked at some more advanced and changing angles and staying close to the opponent and attacking from different angles, which is very important. But I would say the basic step back is even more important. Let's see. No. Here. This is Evander Holyfield in the red. He's a very famous, when he won the heavyweight title. Look at how he feints and takes a step back and creates the room for his right hand. Now, feint, step back, boom, meet with the right. See, feint, boom. Look at the control he has of the distance. Same, there. Step back, counter with the right hand. Maintaining the distance to the opponent. Same in the red box is step back, 1-2. Step back, 1-2. Lomachenko in red, same thing there. Step back, controlling the distance, putting pressure, and before he goes to the side, he managed little back and counter, and then to the side. Here also. Step back, counter, and then he pivots to the side. Here. He puts pressure when opponent is attacking. He maintains the distance, take the step back, and then he counters. Okay, we'll try to show with the Kima a little bit on the pads. We used to say it's very important to do the small movements. And it is important. You see, the best boxers, they manage millimetrically here, tuk, small movements. But equally, or even more important, first, I need to be able to make this the safe movement. And the safest to step back here to manage the distance. And this sometimes, many coaches feel that, no, don't go back. Yeah, don't go back in a straight line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because I will end in the ropes. But 1 or 2 steps back, you must be able to take, like Holyfield or Lomachenko. So one thing here, so he puts the pressure, but I want to see that he has control, so maintaining the same distance. So this, then I see he knows what he's doing. He has no problem with this. So maintain. So there, this control very important. To the sides is also important. Oh, there, this. But the risk is also bigger. You need better control to be able to stay on these millimeters. First, I want to ensure that he has this control with the step back.
Thiago, screen down.
Okay. Now we'll add boom. I want to see contact with the left, and speed. He needs to be able to maintain balance. There. Okay. Now we will try that. We saw the video. Step back, right. So we start with that. We eliminate all the other movements. Step back and right. Step back and right. Or south, right? South, right. Step back, there. Okay, now we have the left. Back. Now we do left, step back, and right. So left, step back, and right. Step back and right. He's control. Look, he comes forward, but he has control backward, and he has control counter when I'm coming. Over, back, and counter. Back and counter. This control, very important. Now we'll do the other one that we saw also. Step back and 1, 2. There, step back right. Here we go. There. Step back right. There. There. Back right. There. Right. Now we go to left. Step back, 1, 2. And now the difference here. When I take the step back, we come back into the right. I want him to stay. I don't want him to go forward because you probably have less power in the punch and be more exposed. But when I throw the 1, 2, boom, step back, and he will step in. Left, step back, 1. Left, step back, 1. Back, 1. Eyes complicated. We change the side. Here's here, come forward. There, step back, 1, 2. Step back. I measure, I want him the outside of my reach. In and out. In, out, and in again. In, out, in again. And then we add the movement. Are you tired? No. Left. Move, move, stay out, 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 out. Move, left, left. Okay, now we go. Left, back, again, left. Okay, we finished before one of us falls down with a heart attack. What do I want to say with this? The managing of the distance, the staying outside the opponent's reach, the possibility to go in here and have the awareness to go out and coming back. Here, yeah, left, out, 1, 2, there. This control, in and out, in, out, in again, in, out, in again. Now you back to the right. In, out, boom. In, out, boom. This control, in and out, is very important to put before we go in here, tuk, 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 tuk. And because otherwise I'm crossing punches all the time. Every time, if I meet the opponent, every time I progress to back. This one obviously a very effective counter because he's catching me when I am on my way out. He's catching me with that punch. But it also requires much more speed. The difficulty level is bigger. This obviously we need to do because this is very effective. But if every time I'm throwing the left and he's crossing, I will feint him. So I will feint him, boom, and then I will counter. So that's why I want him to have this other left, step back, boom, 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 boom. Take the necessary distance, obviously not too long. If I take 3 steps back, boom, 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 and then want to counter, it will be too slow. But you have to have a little balance. What is my opponent's speed against my speed? And this is, I think, many people, they miss. When they see all these tuck, 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 millimetrical, we miss a little bit that, okay, first, let's find one more safe way to do the counter. I will show the video again. With this excellent counter punch, very well planned, feinting, step back, and he gets in the room for his right hand.
Finding the range for this right. You'll see a lazy left jab by Buster Douglas. Then we'll see another, the uppercut from way back. Well, the primary flush on the face from overhead. Here comes that.
The other boxer totally misjudged throwing a right uppercut. Here the same situation, step back and right hand. I create the room necessary to land a hard punch. Same, step back, 1, 2.
hand was his ticket all night. If he had time to uncork that one, announce it, set, and score with it, and then deem the appropriate finish of this fight here. His gear is lunging, and that's why he goes right into it.
And this Lomachenko, 2 steps back. 1 step back and then to the side. Okay, step back and counter. And then pivot to the side. 2 step back and counter. And then pivot to the side. You see how he applies the pressure. He has the blue boxer on the corner. But when the boxer attacks, he has great judgment of the distance, maintaining his distance to the opponent, and is able to score. So a combination of this control in and out, side to side, and changing angles and so on is what we're trying to look for. Okay, this was for today's session. Let's look at the yes, Mr. Gupta, make some translations.
Good evening, friends. Mr. Santiago has given a very good lecture on the principles of training. आज मिस्टर संटियागो ने सभी कोचेस को जब आप ट्रेनिंग के प्रिंसिपल को अपनाते हैं और उनके साथ ट्रेनिंग करते हैं, उनके क्या क्या एडवांटेज हैं, उन सभी के बारे में बताया. There are 8 principles of training which he has explained. 8 प्रिंसिपल के बारे में उन्होंने बहुत ही डिटेल के अंदर विस्तार पूर्वक बताया और 4 प्रिंसिपल को एक्टिवली ट्रेनिंग के अंदर लागू करके दिखाया. फर्स्ट वन वाज इंडिविजुअलाइजेशन. जब आप जूझ से आगे एक सीनियर बॉक्सर या एलीट ग्रुप में लेके जाते हैं, उसके अंदर क्या क्या टेक्निकल, टैक्टिकल और साइकोलॉजिकल क्वालिटीज का इनबिल्ट कॉम्बिनेशन आता है, उसको एक्सप्लॉइट करने के लिए हम ट्रेनिंग को इंडिविजुअलाइज करते हैं. जो जो भगवान का दिया उसके अंदर है, उसको और डेवलप करके कंपटीशन के अंदर वो बॉक्सर उसको कैसे एक्सप्लॉइट करता है. उसके अंदर उन्होंने 4 अलग अलग बॉक्सर्स की आपको एक ही टेक्निक को दिखाया, कैसे वो स्टेप बैक जाते हैं होलीफील्ड, हाउ इफेक्टिवली, और कितना ही प्रेसाइज मूवमेंट कंपटीशन के अंदर. दैट आल्सो विद जो बस्ट डगलस, कितना परफेक्टली उसने मूवमेंट को किया. और उसके बाद वही मूवमेंट कंट्रोल करने के लिए मिस्टर खेमा को कई दफा हम होता है ब्लाइंडली जाते हैं, उसको ब्रेक डाउन करने के लिए मोनोटोनी को उसको लेफ्ट हैंड को एक्सटेंड करते थे और अपने आप को खेमा को पीछे लेके जाना पड़ता 1 स्टेप, एंड ही हैज टू कम विद द सेम काउंटर. दूसरा जो प्रिंसिपल है वेरिएशन. वेरिएशन एक बहुत ही पॉजिटिव स्टेप है एक बॉक्सर के लिए. वेरिएशन के बिना आज के मॉडर्न एरा के अंदर किसी बाउट को जीतना बहुत ही मुश्किल है. आपने अपने इंटेलिजेंसी लेवल को उसी टेक्निक के अंदर बार बार वेरिएट करते हुए इस्तेमाल करना है. फॉर दिस व्हाट ही इज डूइंग विद द सेम टेक्निक, सम टाइम मूविंग टू द लेफ्ट, सम टाइम मूविंग टू द लेफ्ट, कई दफा उसी टेक्निक के अंदर थोड़ी सी फोर्स को कम कर लिया या उसको ओपनिंग के लिए, मीन यू हैव टू वेरिएट. हर पंच स्कोरिंग नहीं है, कभी उसको आपने डिस्टेंस के लिए, कभी ओपनिंग क्रिएट करने के लिए, कभी ओपोनेंट को फेक करने के लिए उसी पंच का बार बार तरह के इस्तेमाल करना है. इसके लिए दूसरा जरूरी है, हर कोच चाहे आप हैं और आपका ओपोनेंट, उसका कोच भी आपकी रिकॉर्डिंग करता है. रिकॉर्डिंग करने के बाद उनकी एक टीम है, वो सिटअप बैठते हैं सभी और उसको एनालाइज करते हैं भी विकास कैसे खेल रहा है या अमित कैसे खेल रहा है. दे आल्सो नोट डाउन योर पॉइंट्स. अगर आपके पास वेरिएशन ज्यादा है तो उस ओपोनेंट के अगेंस्ट स्ट्रेटजी बनाने में बहुत ही मुश्किल होता है. द थर्ड वन, प्रोग्रेशन ऑफ ए लोड. प्रोग्रेशन धीरे धीरे ही स्टार्टेड फ्रॉम 1 डिफेंस 1 काउंटर, slowly from 1 defense he has gone to 2 to 3 and more number of punches in the combination. पहले जब आप सीख रहे हैं इन द अर्लियर स्टेजेस यू गो विद 1 कॉम्बिनेशन, एक कॉम्बिनेशन सीख लिया उसी डिफेंस के साथ, उसी काउंटर के साथ, बट उसके बाद बॉक्सर अपने दिमाग से और क्या एक्सप्लोर कर सकता है, उसी पंच के द्वारा कौन कौन सी ओपनिंग वो क्रिएट कर रहा है, उसी को वेरिएट करते हुए आपने प्रोग्रेशन ऑफ लोड मीन जो चीज की पॉसिबिलिटी एक थी उसको आप 3 तरफ ले गए, 4 तरफ ले गए. दिस इज द वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग पॉइंट इन द, जितने भी, इसको एक और वर्ड देते हैं इनोवेशन. जो ज्यादा बड़े बॉक्सर हैं वो अपनी टेक्निक के अंदर, चाहे उनका बॉडी वेट मिस हो जाए या टेक्निक फेल भी हो जाती है, उसको इनोवेट करते हैं. इनोवेशन कम्स विद इंटेलिजेंसी. वो बार बार हर चीज का प्लस नेगेटिव पॉइंट बताते हुए अपने बॉक्सर को ज्यादा पॉसिबिलिटीज के लिए तैयार कर रहे हैं. सो जब हम रिंग के अंदर अपने बॉक्सर को तैयार करते हैं, वी हैव टू बी इनोवेटिव. हर एक चीज जब एक बॉक्सर कर रहा है, अगर आप उसका प्लस एंड माइनस पॉइंट बताते हुए उस टेक्निक को एक्सप्लेन करते हैं, बॉक्सर अपना दूसरी टेक्निक की तरफ ही ध्यान, जैसे उसने बताया काउंटर विद द राइट इज वेरी गुड, बट अगर हर वक्त आप काउंटर के लिए जाएंगे, द ओपोनेंट विल कम विद द अदर काउंटर. बॉक्सिंग इज ए चेस. हर ऑफेंस के लिए डिफेंस है, डिफेंस के लिए काउंटर है. इसलिए जो कॉम्बिनेशन जो आपने सीखे हैं, शायद एक भी इस्तेमाल ना हो बाउट के अंदर, बट हमने अपने बॉक्सर का कोऑर्डिनेशन और इंटेलिजेंसी लेवल इतना ऊपर लेके जाना है. अगर उस वक्त उसको कोच गाइड करने के लिए नहीं है, वो अपने दिमाग के द्वारा उस इंटेलिजेंसी लेवल को यूज करते हुए अपनी प्रॉब्लम का सेल्फ सॉल्यूशन ढूंढते हुए. देन एक्टिव इन्वॉल्वमेंट, द फर्स्ट प्रिंसिपल विच ही टोल्ड. मैं थोड़ा सा इस पे माफी चाहूंगा. मेरे को लगता है अगर हम अपने बॉक्सर्स को ट्रेनिंग सेशन के अंदर और मेंटली इन्वॉल्वमेंट करने के लिए थोड़ा सा और इम्प्रूवमेंट लाएंगे, तो मेरा ये मानना है भी हमारे जो बॉक्सर हैं उनके अंदर इम्प्रूवमेंट लेवल और आगे होगी. हर सेशन के अंदर, चाहे डिफेंस के लिए चाहे काउंटर के लिए, किसी भी लर्निंग के लिए आप सेशन को ऑर्गेनाइज किया है, बॉक्सर का और कोच का दोनों का उस टास्क के अंदर मेंटली इन्वॉल्वमेंट होना बहुत बहुत ही जरूरी है. जब तक आप मेंटली इन्वॉल्वमेंट नहीं है, इसको बोलते हैं पैसिव लर्निंग. उसके अंदर आप सीख भी सकते हैं, नहीं भी सीख सकते, बट इफ यू आर मेंटली इन्वॉल्व, यू हैव द 100% chances to learn. With this, I will again call Mr. Santiago.
Thank you. Thank you. Kima, we have some questions. Dear sir, how we will determine maximum training volume for different age group of boxers? Yeah, so you have to step up gradually. You have to watch your boxers, how they respond to the training. Some boxers, they can quickly go up to high volume of training, but you have to think also long term. Not only, it's easy to train, boom, for 1 year very hard, but then start coming the injuries. So you have to gradually step up. We used to say in men's boxing, for reaching world-class level, you should be around 700 hours yearly, 750. But you have, the most important is the quality of the training, not the volume. So we can add 1,000 hours, but do we get enough recovery? Will it be effective? Will it be a quality training session, or we just adding minutes? So you have to feel a little bit what are they doing, can improve a little bit, but from year to year they should be be able to increase the load, not only the volume but the load.
How monitor training program? Give some methods.
How to monitor the training program? Give some method and examples. Okay. We have one session with the physical test battery, which we're using in the national team. So for the physical training, how we can monitor the effectiveness of our training, we will show in that session. Otherwise, like I said, competitions. Before we had very few competitions in India. We have boxers who spend 6 months, 8 months, 10 months without any competitions, and then they go for one state tournament, and if they win only, they will go to the nationals. Otherwise, they have to wait another 6 months. This is not good for the long-term development. They need to compete, and especially in the formative years, the youth, 17, 18, 19, 20, very important. It's not as important for a 28-year-old who already have done 2-3 Olympic cycles it's not important to compete every month, go international competitions every time. For some, it's good, they need it, but some others just need a few important competitions.
Aaron, how long you continue with this weight?
How long do you continue to increase weight in strength training? Do you continue to grow strength as how strong must you be to be a good boxer? Yeah, how strong? Yes. So here we only do the strength training, the conditioning training. We only do them what we believe it's a must to become a better boxer. So it doesn't directly make you a better boxer, but the strength training, number one, to have a good, strong body, to prevent injuries, and to let us be able to perform well in the ring, but basically not more than that. But in today's boxing, what we believe we need is we need to go out from the boxing training to become stronger. With the boxing training alone is not enough to get the endurance level or get the strength level, the power level. This is basically the same in any sport. When they have done tests of people who only do the specialized training and people who do specific training in certain areas, the control group who do the specific training, they get better results. And if we look at what we see in around the world, most countries, they do strength training 2 or 3 times a week during long periods of time. And you have to start somewhere. So you have to start with the basics. You have to start with doing a couple of push-ups. Maybe when you start, you manage to do 5 push-ups, or maybe you manage to do 1 chin-up, and from there you have to take it further. But once you are able to do 25, 26, that exercise is not that effective to you. So for strength, boom, and you need to put a little weight on that, a belt with a weight, and maybe you do 7 or 8. So how strong you need to be, it's not a mathematical question, but basically, depending on the exercise, above your body weight, if you do a bench press or a squat, 1.5, 125 times your body weight for a world-class level, you should be able to, in men. For women, I have to check what are the numbers. But this we have seen. I have done tests on boxers in different countries, and it is not much difference with our Indian boxers. So when you see there is some weakness, yeah, that boxer will need little more work. In some boxers who are already very good at that, maybe they need some other type of training. So the strength, endurance, we do that type of training only to help us in our sport. If a boxer fully prepared for competition, but he or she is not performing in competition, what's the coach responsibility during this situation? It can be in many factors. One factor which I mentioned is boxer needs more experience. So okay, more competitions to get the security, feeling good in the ring. Can be psychological. We have to see what is the difference, how he or she acts in the sparring and not be able to do in the ring, in the competition ring. So it's not just one thing, but sometimes need a little patience. Do a proper analysis and try to speak to the boxer and see what he or she is feeling. Please explain principle of progressive specialization. Also request if Mr. Gupta can explain in Hindi. Yeah, so basically, if we have a kid or a beginner, we want them to develop multilateral skills, different skills in anything. jumping, running, throwing, whatever. Once we develop, we keep a little bit of these general exercises. But to further improvement, we need more and more specific exercises. Of course, we can do the specific, we take a 7-year-old and only do specific exercises and it can become a good boxer. But on the general picture, if you're talking about the country, 1,000 or 10,000 boxers, we will get better results, fewer injuries, and probably longer lasting boxers if the boxers have gone through this process of doing a lot of different sports, doing a lot of different general exercises, and slowly specializing more and more on the boxing part. But no need to specialize in the 10, 11, 12 years old. You have to think long term.
Now, एक क्वेश्चन पूछा गया है, अर्ली स्पेशलाइजेशन और लेट। यंग एज में जब एक बच्चा 10, 11 या 12 साल का होता है, उस वक्त हमारा जो एम होता है लेइंग डाउन ऑफ द फाउंडेशन। ये ऐसे है, अगर आज ही हम आम का पेड़ लगाते हैं और 4 महीने बाद बोलते हैं आम लग जाएंगे, इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल। एक एलीट लेवल की परफॉर्मेंस को अचीव करने के लिए इट टेक्स 6 और 7 इयर्स। अगर उस वक्त हम उसको ऐसी खाद डाले लग जाएंगे जिसको हम उसको अर्ली ग्रो करना चाहते हैं, देयर मे बी सम पुअर रिजल्ट्स, मे बी पॉजिटिव, बट ज्यादातर दुनिया के अंदर देखा गया है, अगर हम फाउंडेशन को मल्टीलेटरल डेवलपमेंट के लिए तैयार करते हैं, जैसे उस दिन बात हुई थी बच्चों को डिफरेंट गेम्स के अंदर स्विमिंग, जिम्नास्टिक एक्सरसाइज मीन्स, अगर उसका कोऑर्डिनेशन और उसकी जो बेसिक स्ट्रेंथ है जो आगे चलकर हम स्पेसिफिक में कन्वर्ट करनी है, जो उसकी बेसिक इंडोरेंस है जो आगे चलकर है, बच्चों के अंदर रिएक्शन स्पीड में मूवमेंट स्पीड और कोऑर्डिनेशन के ऊपर ज्यादा ध्यान दिया जाता है। अगर हम थोड़ा सा भी डाटा कलेक्ट करेंगे अराउंड द वर्ल्ड, यू लुक एट द रशियन एथलीट्स, जर्मन एथलीट्स, अमेरिकन, क्यूबन, उनकी जो ट्रेनिंग का जो 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 साल की ट्रेनिंग तक है, ज्यादातर अबाउट 60% इज जर्नल ट्रेनिंग। बट जर्नल ट्रेनिंग वो ये नहीं है, क्योंकि जो हमारे एक्शन है उसके अंदर हमें इंडोरेंस भी चाहिए, स्ट्रेंथ भी चाहिए, स्पीड भी चाहिए। उसी को हम स्पेसिफिक तौर की बजाय क्या करते हैं, उसको अदर गेम, आप ओन बॉडी वेट के साथ खेलने लगे, आपने पार्टनर को लिफ्ट कर लिया, वहां आपने मेडिसिन बॉल की थ्रो किया, मीन जो प्रिंसिपल ऑफ ग्रोथ एंड डेवलपमेंट है, आपकी जैसे जैसे मैच्योरिटी और बॉडी फिजिकली डेवलप होती जा रही है, उसी तरीके से आप उसकी लोड को इंक्रीज कर देते हैं। जब 17-18 की एज में आता है तो हम फ्री वेट्स की तरफ चले जाते हैं। दूसरा, कितना चाहिए, इट इज ए कंपैरेटिव स्टेटमेंट। आपने देखा होगा हर वेट के अंदर आपका जो ओपोनेंट है वो कितना कर रहा है, अगर हम उस लेवल को अचीव कर लेते हैं, मीन वी हैव द फिजिकल स्ट्रेंथ टू दैट लेवल। उसके बाद टेक्टिकल और आपके साइकोलॉजिकल एस्पेक्ट हैं, दे कम इन टू प्ले। तो जरूरी नहीं है भी अगर हम एक ही फैक्टर को लेके देखेंगे भी हमारा बॉक्सर उसमें लैग करता नहीं है। अगर आप फिजिकली उतना अचीव कर लेते हैं, आपका जो बॉक्सर है वो भी 18 चिन अप लगा रहा है, रशियन भी 18 लगा रहा है, जर्मन भी 18 लगा रहा है, क्यूबन भी, दिस मीन दैट इज हाउ ही कन्वर्ट्स दैट स्ट्रेंथ इनटू द पंचिंग स्ट्रेंथ। वो कैसे काउंटर के अंदर या कोऑर्डिनेशन के द्वारा रिंग के अंदर अप्लाई करता है। तो अल्टीमेटली हमें हर चीजों को जो भी परफॉर्मेंस की प्रीरिक्विजिट में आती हैं उनको इम्प्रूव करना है, और जहां पे हमें लगता है हमारी कमजोरी है, कमियां हैं, उनको ज्यादा से ज्यादा इम्प्रूव करते हुए अपने बॉक्सर को रिंग के लिए तैयार करना है। बट ये ध्यान रखिए, जब एक बच्चे की फाउंडेशन रखने का टाइम है, उस वक्त हमारा एम उससे परफॉर्मेंस अचीव करने का नहीं है। उस वक्त उसको मल्टीलेटरल तौर पे डेवलप कीजिए, उसकी ग्रोथ के ऊपर ध्यान दीजिए। शायद वो आने वाले समय में 10 साल बाद आपका लाइट हैवी अच्छा बन जाता या हैवी अच्छा बन जाता, अगर हम ग्रोथ एंड डेवलपमेंट के प्रिंसिपल को फॉलो करते हैं। अर्ली अचीवमेंट के रिजल्ट के ऊपर ध्यान मत दीजिए। आप देखेंगे जितने भी ये वर्ल्ड क्लास ये बॉक्सर्स हैं आज के टाइम पे, उनका प्रोग्रेशन ऑफ डेवलपमेंट बहुत ही अच्छा है। लुक एट अवर ओन विकास, लुक एट अवर अमित विकास का आप देखेंगे जूस से लेके हाउ ही हैज गॉन इनटू द सीनियर। तो ये मेरी रिक्वेस्ट है कोचेस से भी, आप जो अर्ली स्पेशलाइजेशन की तरफ गो फॉर द मल्टीलेटरल डेवलपमेंट।
Boxing is an intermittent sport. The training also follows a similar pattern. While calculating training volume, should we consider the rest period also? Yes. I don't know if I mentioned, but we say increase of the load, but a balance between overload and recovery is very important. If we only overload, boom, will come injuries or stagnation. So training and recovery, that balance we have to find. How do we predict exact maximum volume for boxers of different age group and levels? No, there is no exact. Like we said, individualization. It's different for different individuals, but you can go by guidelines. Okay, so what is the maximum that load we can take for an elite boxer, and what is the good level to start? So when we start boxing, okay, I don't know how it works in the ground level, but normally kids come in 1, 2, or 3 times in a week. They train for an hour, they go home, and from there you increase the training. Once they start competing, maybe they need to train more times, and maybe they need to add some physical training on the side, and so on. Question: when your opponent is small, when you step back with uppercut, I don't know if I understand the question correctly, but yes, if my opponent is short, I do the step back, boom, and come back with the uppercut. Yes, so I see it coming in, face first, here, take the step back, boom, with the uppercut. Very, very good counter. Yes. How much volume and intensity should be increased after each microcycle and reduced in unload phase across different phases of training year? Okay, next week we have training planning, so we will look a little bit at this, how much you change in the volume and intensity and so on. Yeah. What is your opinion concerning high intensity interval training for a world-class boxer? Yes, for me what is important is to have quality and high intensity in the boxing training. When we do sparring, when we do school fight, we need, when we hit on the bag, we need to feel the high intensity similar to the bout. It's wearing and tearing on the body, always working a lot with the lactic acid. So when we go to the strength training and endurance, we prefer not to put more lactic acid, because we want them fresh for the boxing training, so that they don't come too tired to the boxing training. Lactic acid in the morning and then lactic acid in the evening. So basically, when we do our endurance training, we try to stay on the aerobic levels with little but not too much lactic acid. The same when we do strength training, with not giving hundreds of repetitions, but less repetitions, and maintain quality. So that the lactic acid training is specific, and we do that in the boxing training. Doing weight training on competition period is correct, or it varies player to player? So it depends what you mean with the competition period, but yes. So we do weight training all the way into the competition. The last 2 to 3 weeks, we go down from maybe 3 sessions down to 2 sessions, and it's a part of our training. We do a warm-up exercise, a couple of 2 explosive exercises, and then we continue with our normal boxing training. In the maybe 3-4 days before, we do a warm-up exercise, 1 power exercise, and then we continue with some pad work or so on. But we don't stop. But our boxers have worked with this system now for 3 years, so they're very much used to it. There are boxers who they feel like, no, I don't want to do some strength training close to the competition. But you want speed, you want little power. So going in, doing 1 or 2 exercises, if they have a good training background doing these type of exercises, I would say is beneficial. Before competition, if you have any specific test to measure the boxer by instrument or machine, if you have, please explain. No, eye test. Believe in what you see. No, there I wouldn't put any numbers. I want to see. That is the best test. If they look good in the sparring, usually they will be able to perform. Last question. What is your opinion for post-activation potentiation before bout? Post-activation, I don't understand the question. What is your opinion? Post-activation potentiation. Post-activation, pre-activation should be. You come back and explain your question because I don't understand. How long day we should give complete rest to elite boxer before big event like Asian Games or Olympic Games? How long day we should give complete rest? Basically, in the tapering period, you reduce the load, and number one, you reduce the volume. The volume of training goes down, maybe 50%. You want to keep a little bit intensity. You want to keep a little bit of this speed and power. And some boxers also, they want to rest, but it's not good to, if you are used to training, and suddenly you just resting, your body can become little too relaxed. So most boxers, they want to have short sessions, feeling a little speed and a little activeness. Some boxers need to take weight, but generally you don't need to reduce very much the sessions. Here you have to take into account the individual needs of the boxer. So if some boxer comes and tells me, coach, I want to rest this session, these 2 days, I feel good, my weight is fine, I've done all my sparring and this, but I need to little rest, I have no problem with that, contrary. Okay, I think we replied many questions. Mr. Sacchetti.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I'm done. I think we got some very good questions, and we will continue. And next week, we have from Saturday, we have about strength and conditioning, we have about training planning, we have about long-term planning. So many of these questions we will touch on again.
I would like
Yes, sir.
to invite Colonel Bishnoi, the Senior Executive Director of Patiala.
Thank you so much for inviting me, sir. Actually, whenever I used to get time, I used to attend all the sessions, and especially Santiago and foreign experts and Mr. Gupta. And thereafter, the control and coordination straight away from the head of the family by Mr. Sanchetti was wonderful. And I think all participants have enjoyed this training session and they have learned a lot. I can see the seriousness of all the participants when I actually get my screen Zoom for everybody. So it was wonderful session by everybody, and thank you to all the speakers. The speakers were wonderful because they have kept the momentum, they have kept the motion of this spirit of post-development program. So it's wonderful, sir. And it was all effort of Boxing Federation of India that we have got this kind of speakers and this kind of momentum. And we have got the best results till now as Olympic qualifier. And I think we'll get the best results in Olympics also. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. We assure you that yes, definitely we will get best result in the Olympics.